Hello and welcome to Polyplane.com. Today we're going to be doing a plugin review for the technical drawing display mode, which is specific to Rhino. So if you're not using Rhino to follow along with us on these lessons, this one's not going to make a whole lot of help for you, but yeah, I think you might still get something out of it when we talk about bringing the line views into Photoshop. So if you've ever looked at an IKEA manual, you see these really cool illustrations that are black and white line drawings, and they've got all these bits, and I've always really liked this sort of line style of drawing and art, and it's a great way to sort of communicate your ideas. I use it a lot in my design work when I'm working on products, and if you go on the web, you'll see all sorts of different variations on it. A lot of times these are done directly out of the 3D program. It doesn't really matter if it's Cinema 4D or 3D Max or Rhino or whatever. They can all support this kind of view. There's a couple of ways to do it, and I'm just going to go over the technical drawing display mode plugin. In a couple of weeks, we're going to go over the Make 2D, which will actually produce vectors that you can then take into Illustrator and do more with. This is kind of a quicker, dirtier way to do it. So if you go to wiki.mcneil.com/lab/techdraw, you can download the plugin here, and it's got a great list of capabilities and commands and tips and stuff. And I believe in Rhino 5 they're going to be supporting it as part of their regular appearance mode. If you have any trouble installing Rhino plugins, I've created a quick little guide. It's literally 2-step, and you can check that out. There will be a link below that goes over how to install those, so just keep that in mind. So let's check it out. So here I have sort of a speaker system. It's modeled after a Logitech thing that I did for a project years ago, and it's kind of interesting. But if I want to do a line view of this for, say, illustration purposes, the shaded view is kind of a clumsy way to do it, because yeah, it gives you a little bit of highlight here, but it doesn't really give you a clean slate to work from. So under your document properties, if you go under plugins, you can install the technical drawing plugin and use it. So what happens is it creates a new type of display mode for you. So if I right click on perspective here, or if I click on view, I can go down and click on technical, and that's going to create a nice black line drawing for me of whatever it is I'm working on. Now the cool thing about this is I can actually select something, put it on a different layer, and the layer properties will actually attach itself to the technical line drawing, so you can create multicolor line work. So I'm going to keep that on default. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the properties here and change a little bit of the appearance. So if I go to appearance and then colors and background, I can actually change the background color to white, which makes it a little bit easier to see. The other thing I want to do is turn off the grid. By the way, the gray color under colors background, if you just change the value to 117, that's your default Rhino background color. And if you change out of your technical line view, it's still going to stay that color. So if you want it to be white, cool, but if you don't, that's how you change it back, is just by going under there. So we've got this cool technical thing, but what if we want to see some of the guts? Well, the cool thing about this is it comes with a list of commands. So if I type tech, you can see all the different options that it has with it. So I'm going to do hidden lines, and now I can see the inside of my unit. This is really cool if you have a bunch of components in there, or maybe you're doing some sort of room layout and you just want to kind of see how things intersect. This is a really useful tool for doing that. Now true, you could do the X-ray view, which kind of gives you the same thing, but it doesn't have the same flavor. I think this is a really great plugin for really displaying information in a very easy to visually read sort of way. So the other cool thing that you can do, aside from the hidden line drawing, is to come up here, start messing around with these switches here. So if I turn off edges, and then I'm going to turn off hidden lines, and then I'm going to turn off creases, and then I'm going to turn off silhouettes, you can see what's happening. It's slowly kind of diminishing its form, or what's at least visible to the computer. Let's see what else. Creases. Oh no, we did creases. Seams. Oh no, seams are on. Hey, that's kind of interesting. You can see I'm almost turning off and on individual metaphysical properties of the model, almost like what's an edge, what's a silhouette. Now for a model like this, it's not too complex, but it's a good model to use for like hidden lines and that sort of thing. So that's a good overview of kind of the switches that the display mode offers. Now I want to show you one other thing, and that is what happens if you want to take this and print it out. Now, like I said before, the make 2D command, which I'm going to go over in a few weeks, is actually a little cleaner way to do this, but in a pinch, this works pretty quick. So I'm going to pick a view that I like, say, that works. And I will hit Control P to print, and this brings up the print setup dialog. You can actually save to any of your printers, but you can also save as an image. So I'm going to do this by 8.5 by 11. I'm going to make this to the extents. Actually, I'm going to select a window. So you click on window, select new. I'm just going to drag out a window and then right click to enter. So that's right what I wanted. And then you have some other options here. You can scale your line types here, and you can put the background color in. Because we're using white, it doesn't matter for this. So we can just uncheck that. You can bring a wallpaper in here and kind of almost do a composite. We'll click print, and then I'm just going to save this as Logitech speaker JPEG. And you've got a few options here for images that you can save out from the print menu. Click save. So I'm jumping back into Photoshop here, and I'm just going to open up the speakers. And the cool thing about this is you can sort of define your resolution. So as you can see, this is a pretty high res file, 300 dpi. It's totally suitable for editing. So what I would do is just select the wand, invert it, Control Shift I, and then hit Alt ES, and that'll bring up your stroke. And you can crank this up, make that black, and then just select the outside of your selection, and that'll put a stroker on it. And that's a pretty darn convincing technical line drawing that you've just done in a matter of seconds based off of that model. So then you can come around here and do another one and go through the same motions. Put this one on extents, click print, call this Logitech speakers number 2, come back into Photoshop, open it up, and do the same thing. All right. So it really allows you a little bit of speed while, with the make 2D command, you're going to see there's a few more steps involved, but the quality that you get is a little bit better. But this is a really great way for doing this when you need to be pretty quick about it. So check it out, install it. I'll put the link below so you can mess around with it and have a good time. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.